Welcome back to the Jerrick Podcast.
Randy, today is a calm day. We're gonna chill. Gonna get some dope. And just relax. Then maybe take some cocaine. And just chill until you don't. And then you just go ham. We just got flagged for not for kids because I used the cocaine.
Did I say cocaine? I meant cocaine.
Cocaine. This episode is sponsored by nobody again. But if it were, it would be sponsored by Triton Energy Drink. New brand made by 7-Eleven.
No,
they're actually delicious.
That's a lie. Give me that. Give me that.
They're actually great.
There's no
blood
fucking
orange?
way.
Dude,
There's no fucking way.
Dude, check.
Oh my god, they're made by 7-Eleven.
Yeah, you can only buy them at 7-Eleven. Check out that blood orange. Seriously. Give that baby a sip.
It tastes like crushed orange soda.
Yeah, right?
I mean, like, not like entirely as good, but like it tastes like crushed.
Then you look at like the nutrition and you're like, alright, what did you do to this?
Yeah, like it's the cocaine.
You're like, how is it 15 calories? You're like, what is going on here? You have 6 grams of carbs but no sugars.
Where the fuck? We don't even live near a 7-Eleven.
I near my work. Near my work, yeah. It's been interesting. Randy, I am so happy to be doing this right now. You know, for the first time in like 3 years, I genuinely don't want to go to work some days. For the first time since college.
You feel like I do too?
Yeah. How do you people do it? How do you do it? I'm not, dude. Like, seriously, this is really this last like maybe half a month, maybe a month. I just went like, dude, I can't wait for Friday. I've never been this way. Like since I've had this job, never. I've been like, dude, yeah. I mean, Friday rolls around. That's cool. Like, whatever.
Now you're like, what the fuck? It's Tuesday.
Yeah, like my normal day is fine. So like whatever, I enjoy doing it. And now I'm just like, bro, dude, it's literally, you know, it's bad too. Like I'm at work and I'm just like I'm doing something and then I'm like, I'll like write a note down on like a pad or like on a notepad or something like on my computer. Like a random thought or an idea or like a sentence that I want to put in like a video that I'm working on. That's literally it, dude. It's literally just from like more stuff about Origami King or like whatever, this next thing. Yeah, dude. It's been interesting. How about you, Randy? How was your busy week?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, well, we can move on. So, you know, I was thinking, by the way, we need to do. I know we were talking about this last episode, but seriously, I'm like really, really thinking about it. We need to grab. Maybe we should reach out to John, and maybe we should get Riley. We need to do or Kyle or somebody. We need to do like a four-way podcast, dude. Like one of these weekends. Maybe next weekend or like the weekend. I can't do next weekend. I'm on a trip.
California?
No, I wish. No. We're taking the weekend away. No one cares. I don't know why I'm telling you. But no, I would love to do that if any, you know, I think it'd be really fun.
Friendos.
Yeah, and it'd be really fun to do. And like someone like John and Riley, I'm thinking off of us, or even Kyle. But John and Riley especially have such different perspectives than us.
Yeah.
On games. So it'd be really interesting, I think, at least. It'd be fun just to talk about something. Anyway, this last week, it's been like a pretty okay week for like gaming wise. We had the Xbox Live Showcase. We're going to talk about that. But before we jump into anything, Rand, the question's coming, as it does every week. Randy, what have you been playing this week?
Paladins.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, why Paladins? What happened?
It's a new hero.
What happened? Did Overwatch
out.
go off server?
No, I just really like Paladins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, are you sure?
Actually, to be fair, Paladins is pretty fun. You know my biggest problem with Paladins?
Is not like being able to switch mid-match?
No, okay, so that's not like a problem. That's just like, because it's not like a fault necessarily. That's just like a thing that I like about Overwatch so much that now that I've had it, I'm like...
To be fair, there are times during Paladins matches I'd be like, bro, if I could just switch to this character, we'd be good.
Yeah, like I was playing Dota 2 with a couple people, and this is like a couple weeks back, or maybe like even like a month or two back, and I like, had this moment where I was like, if I wouldn't have picked this guy, then the next 40 minutes of the match would go better, and I'd have a way more fun time.
Sidetrack. I just like matches of Dota. Like, I know people are super into MOBAs and shit, but dude, a single match lasting like 40 to 50 minutes, I'm like...
I think the average, if I remember correctly, the average League match is like 20 minutes, and like the average Dota 2 match is like just around 25. But we had a game that night that was like an hour and 10 minutes. Yeah, and seriously, it happened, and I was like, dude. Like, and we lost. Like, just to make it worse, like, we lost. And it's just, so you're just like, even if I won, like, I wouldn't have been happy about it.
Take us way too fucking
Bro,
long.
I could have been doing so much
I could
stuff.
have been playing Origami King.
Yeah, or something. I could have been working on the next video. I could have been making another thing, or like something, dude.
Making love to a baby harp seal.
I could have. I could
I
have
don't
been
know why
doing
I
that.
don't know why that just came to
I
mind.
don't know, but I could have been doing it. Did you see, by the way, Korra's coming to Netflix?
That's so random.
That's awesome.
How'd we get from?
I don't know.
Never
But,
mind.
Hey,
I'm
so
not
you're
even
playing Paladins. Cool.
Yes.
Has anything new happened?
New
Paladins?
Hero came out.
What new hero? Sorry, Avatar. Did you see Smite? All the Smite things. We talked
Yes,
about that. Yep.
I did. I watched.
Dude,
I actually watched Mr. Fruit's video on it, and
Did you
I
see
was
their
like,
designs?
I saw Korra's design.
Oh, they look dope. Zuko looks dope.
I didn't see Zuko,
Yeah, they look dope.
but I watched it and I was like, man, I just want a fucking Avatar game.
Like, we had the Legend of Korra one, but apparently that got made in like a year,
Yeah.
which is why it feels like
dev
limited.
time was a year. Like, actual dev time was like 8 months.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I heard it just got
Like,
rushed.
the planning stage was like 2 months, and they were like, all right, make it.
Because let's be real, the premise. First off, Platinum making an action game in the Avatar universe. Yes,
Sold.
please, more of it. And then when they were announcing like what the plans were going to be and how it was going to work and how basically you'd have the 4 face buttons would be abilities, and then the 4 triggers would be
elements.
manipulations of the elements. And then if you had no modifier key, basically it was just her punching, because she's also a fucking fighter. And but then so they had you tell me that, like, that already sounds great. Honestly, it
You know what
sounds
the worst
really
part
good.
about them saying all that stuff was? Is they said all of it, and it felt like as soon as they said that stuff, it was like a couple months later, they're like, here's the release date, and everyone went, wait a minute.
You got that? See, I happened. They told us that, and they were like, oh, by the way, it was out. And I was, wait, when did this happen? When did this release? I didn't catch it. I really, honestly, when it came out, it was because I think Jimmy Wetzel, Wetzel, is that his last name or his name?
Yeah.
I don't remember what his
I think his hidden block name
Is
was
Jimmy?
Jimmy.
I think he had a video on it. Him had a
Yeah.
video on it, and but it was so weird. I remember just seeing the video. It's like, oh, that's already it's been out for 2 months. What? How did I miss a Korra game? What happened? So it was very, very unfortunate.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool idea. So
Like,
sorry,
I'm-
pal. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's a new support hero. It's basically just, I think Paladins is having the problem right now where they're going down the trend of like, actually Overwatch almost kind of does this trend, is doing this trend where like almost every hero released, whatever their role is, apparently needs this crazy amount of DPS.
Yeah, Overwatch did that for a long time.
So like
a long time.
This new hero, he's cool. I mean, I think the thing that really kills me is his ult. His ult is like a stasis ult, which is like fine. He throws this like area of effect down and it slows you and it does tick damage. Here's the problem. The tick damage is way too strong and you move way too slow to get out of it.
Oh, that's annoying.
And you just like, it's like, oh, he's a support. We're good.
Oh,
Dead. And you're like, oh, good.
dude, it was like when Batiste was first on PTR, and it was just like, you're like, oh, it's a Batiste.
He never.
Oh, good.
My favorite thing on
good.
Baptiste on PTR was like, he never healed. They're just, brr, 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 brr,
Oh, dude, he was.
brr, and you're like, what the fuck?
Someone did it out. Like, his DPS throughput on PTR was like actually better than like 75% of the DPS.
It was fucking insane.
Yeah, like why would you pick that guy as a healer? Literally pick him for the immortality field, his DPS ultimate, and then his DPS.
Yeah,
Boom.
like-
And if he has the chance to hit shift as an instant cast, he can AoE heal everybody. That's a good bonus. And he heals better than soldiers, and he did almost the same damage as soldier. And you're like, okay,
Sold.
okay, we're gonna have that guy. But that's awesome.
But
I'm glad Paladins is still getting love.
I've been playing with somebody from work, and then Jake's usually my crux for Paladins, because Jake will be like, yo, I saw this video on Paladins, let's play it. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, all right.
Get back into it.
But
That's awesome.
I try to kid myself. I'll uninstall it when I'm uninterested in it, like when I've got my fill. And then I just know, like 3 months later, Jake's gonna be like, yo, I'm down to play. And I'm like, fuck.
It is a fun, like, really random casual game to jump back into.
I love it. It's a lot of fun. But that's basically what I've been playing. I'm still just like counting the minutes till Amalur, basically.
Yeah, I know, right?
And I really want Ghost of Tsushima, but
And like the Horizon PC version. That's like actually one of the few games I want to play through a second time.
Dude, I've seen some of the PC screenshots.
Dude, have you watched any of the footage?
No.
It's still it's insane. And that I'm glad I just built this PC. And it was not for Horizon.
You fucking tank.
Yeah, it was not for Horizon, but I'm glad I did it. Oh yeah, it looks awesome.
It was for the new Diablo 3 season, wasn't it?
I'd rather vomit.
Oh, that hurt.
So I've been playing 2 games this last week.
Paper Mario.
Yep. And so I'll give you a hint. One's an RPG and one's an action adventure game. You'll never guess.
I was about to say.
Yeah, I really do. Bravely Second is the other thing. So I never played through Bravely Second. And since Bravely Default 2 is on track to still come out this year, I really wanted to try it because Bravely Default is...
Is Bravely Second like an actual sequel, or is the new Bravely Default going to be an actual sequel?
No, so story-wise, Bravely Second is a direct sequel. Like I think it's like 15 years,
after
10 years after the first game. Like it's immediately after, basically. So much to the point where like 2 of the main characters of Bravely Default are in the game within the first like hour and a half, 2 hours, like in some capacity. Bravely Default 2 is like a whole different world. Well, same like world, but like a whole different era,
New
whole
cast.
different characters. Yeah, everything's different. So the reason why they called it Bravely Default 2, which is kind of annoying because there's Bravely Second and now Bravely Default 2, is because it's like a full-on separate sequel.
Fair enough.
So like, okay, fair, yeah. It's fine.
Do we need Brandon to make you a label for the side of Bravely Second?
Rabbit Second? Or Second Shaft?
What was the fun? It was Rabbit Shaft,
Rabbit
right?
Shaft, yeah. So yeah, so our buddy played Bravely Default and he hated it. So
I believe his exact words were, "It's too much like a Facebook farm game."
yeah, so I played it and found one of the best Final Fantasy clones I've ever played in my life. And I think most of the internet agreed. If you like JRPGs, you'll like Bravely Default. It's pretty much like a given.
Yeah, basically.
It's incredible. And there is a side separate minigame that is like a Facebook game where you can keep like your DS on sleep you'll do things.
But you don't have to do it.
It's a side minigame. Like you don't have to. You do get benefits for doing it that you'll get in the game anyway. So you don't need to do it.
Yeah,
So, but yes, he let me have his game because I hadn't bought it and I wanted to play it. And I took it, and then when I took it, like it was like days later, I had found out that he had took a label printer and printed a label and put it on the spine of the box, and it just said Rabbit Shaft. I have no clue why.
Well, that was during his fucking. I don't remember where he got this. I think from work. He ended up getting this label printer, and he was putting labels
everywhere.
Everything. Remember D&D sessions? We'd literally sit downstairs, and you just see labels going up everywhere, and we're like, "What? First off, why'd you bring this to D&D?"
Top of table, bottom of table, side of table, doorknob.
Remember the one he put on Riley and said, "This is Riley"?
Yeah, this is Riley. Dude, it was insane. You'd open up the fridge and all of your stuff was labeled. It was awesome.
Oh my god!
So it was good because I was like, "Oh shoot, is this the milk or not?" Like I was a little confused at times. So thank God I was gonna grab the orange juice, but it was insane. He was I don't know, but so bad. Rabbit Shaft. Well, anyway, so Bravely Second. It's really hard to say much about it because it's literally Bravely Default again. Yeah. So it's been fine. Then I played playing Origami King. I'm about. I want to say like 30-ish hours. I'm probably
Holy
about 30.
fuck.
Yeah, probably like the 30-hour mark. Maybe like 25, 30-ish.
And what'd you get? Like 3 hours of enjoyment out of it?
No, the first 3 hours sucks. Genuinely horrible. Those tutorials blow, and they are slow. So they explain the battle mechanic over about 2 hours, and it's because every single thing they have to explain separately in its own battle designed entirely around that very unique thing. Like, oh, did you know you can move the rings to the left? We've got to tell you that. Did you know that you can move the rings twice if it tells you you can? We've got to tell you that. There's going to be a whole battle about it, and there's going to be the chick, Olivia, telling you about every step of the way, and it's just repeat after repeat, and then here's a wave battle. You're going to fight things twice. And you're like, we gotta have a whole thing about it. And it just takes so long. And, like, the story at this point is really, like, nothing's happened yet. Like, you meet the Origami King, and they take the castle away. That's the premise. So for about 2.5, 3 hours, you're just like, I'm just walking through the woods, dude. Like, okay, and I'm doing these tutorials. It's obnoxious. It's such a slog. And it's kind of a shame because, like, all the banter, like, around, like, all the trees are, like, bad-mouthing you and talking crap about you, like, as you're walking. So there's one point where, like, you're walking along the thing, and you walk around the path, and I noticed, like, oh, so there's a mechanic where you can, like, fill in holes in the game, and with confetti. So I was like, oh, shoot, I missed that one. So, like, I went down, and I turned around, and as I turned around to go to the confetti, they go, wait, where is he going? Like, you see the little chat bubbles just on the screen, but you don't know where they're coming from. So it's just like, wait, where is he going? Oh, I think he's lost. And it was like, oh, no, he has no clue where he's going. Oh, yeah, I tried to do that, too. And there's you don't know what's saying it. So there's, like, random conversation happening. So the actual game, though, first off, we get the obvious stuff out of the way. It is funny. This is easily the funniest Paper Mario game, like, without question. It's hilarious, like, gut-wrenching sometimes. It's so lame sometimes. It's got all ranges of humor. It's a blast from that capacity. Writing is impeccable. Seriously, it's great. The characters, unfortunately, there aren't as much of, like, the partners as I thought they were going to be. Like, they were kind of saying, like, oh, those partners are back.
Kinda.
Like, they are, but they don't really do anything. In fact, the first member you get, like, seriously, like, 75% of his attacks fail. So it's just a waste. Like, he's not there for combat. He's literally there for banter. But at the same time, they actually have a really cool story with him. Like, his start to his, like, the finish of his plot is actually, like, really well told. Okay, so, like, overall, everything, the best way I can just explain Origami King, everything that isn't the combat is incredible.
Ooh,
like, genuinely great. So I'll actually give this game a lot of credit. The open world exploration of Color Splash and Sticker Star was a waste of my time. It genuinely was just filler.
Yeah, it's
Super Paper Mario isn't. I don't love the game, but the world was a fun time.
Yeah.
This is easily the most fun the world's ever been. There's so much to do, so many little hidden puzzles around, the toads that you gotta find. It's really fun because you find them and then they can help you in battle by you literally pay them off and they help you cheat. Right? But finding more of them allows you to do more things and allows you get more, like, basically out of it. And then also they fill the stands in the battle screen, so, like, it's kind of cool to, like, see how many you've unlocked and found.
It's kind of like I guess, like, the first and the second Paper Mario game, but, like, I don't remember what dictates the amount of toads that are in the crowd in the first two games.
I think, like, so I know from what I remember, or from what I know of Thousand Year Door, because I've not played Thousand Year Door, it's one I've not played yet. It's like the performance of the battle, because I know, like, everything's like a stage show.
Oh, that's right.
I think is what it is. Anyway, but yeah, so, like, it's really cool. You have all the toads. The world is so much fun to explore. Like, they've actually made this place. It almost feels like almost like an old Zelda game where
there's the Breath of the Wild of Paper Mario.
No, it's the Zelda of Paper Mario, maybe. It's very much a Zelda game. This game is seriously designed to be a Zelda game. It's like it's an action adventure, definitely, with the open world puzzles and a lot of that solving and a lot of the little banters and, like, things you can get into. Even some of the boss fights are, like, in the real, like, the world, not in a battle screen. They're in the world, and you're literally just jumping and landing on them and hitting them with your hammer and stuff, like hitting the tentacles of a blooper or something, things like that. Like, and all of that seriously is actually loads of fun. Genuinely love it. And then there's the combat, and I have a video coming out about this.
Yeah.
And literally it's going to be mostly about the fact that this combat is, like, the clear problem of the entire game. Like, Color Splash, I know a lot of people love to defend it all of a sudden, which I don't understand. But Color Splash is a filler game. Like, everything feels like filler, like a waste of time, like it's there to exist. And there's no benefit to it.
Yeah.
There's, like, if you're not enjoying every bit of the minutia of the experience, then you're not going to enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
And there's no benefit to continuing to push through it. Especially there's no progression system at all in that game. And even battles are in the way. Every battle is an inconvenience. That doesn't change. So you have battles, and you battle by bump into things, and you bump into the enemies, and the enemies can, like, bump into you and, like, ambush you and stuff. And you go into this battle, which is kind of cool to start because you're, like, solving puzzles each time you're in the battle screen. And then the puzzles repeat, and repeat, and repeat, and repeat. And I'm not joking, there have been 2 different enemy types across 30 hours that have actually changed the way you'll solve the problems. And those 2 enemy types are isolated to about hour sections of the game. So you get it, I was like, oh shoot, this is really cool. And then then it went away, and they never come back. And then the other one, I was like, oh shoot, this really changes the way I'd have to do this battle. And then they go away, and they never come back. And then you go back to the repeating of it. Also, there's no reason to get into battles at all. You get 2 things for getting into battles. Confetti. Whoa. And this is also how you can get confetti. This is no exaggeration. Trees in the world have infinite confetti. So you just go up to a tree for about 10 seconds, and you're full. You're full of confetti. So battling for confetti is irrelevant. So we can cross that off, right? Then there's coins. You get coins for doing it. I have had such a plethora of coins. And after about like the 10-hour mark, I decided I'm going to dodge every battle I can. And I am always at like 20k plus coins. I have actively gone out of my way to buy everything, to max my inventory on things. And I have like 10k coins left. Like, what in the world? There's no point. So battling for coins is completely irrelevant. You don't need to.
So at that point, you're basically battling.
So you don't need to battle. There's no benefit for it. So then if you flee, so then you can try to flee every battle, which is what I do if I get into a battle. The problem is, every turn takes so long. Like, everything has to get set up, all the enemies gotta run in, it's gotta get into place, they gotta jump to the right spot, there's gonna be all this thing, let's puzzle solve or whatever, and then you gotta finally get to go. You hit flee, and then Mario fails and he trips. And now the enemy gets to take 30 to 45 seconds doing their turn. And you're just like, oh my, it's so slow. Like, people said Final Fantasy IX had slow combat, and as someone who just played Final Fantasy IX for the first time like 3 months ago, no, that's
False.
like Sonic speed.
The only thing I'd argue about why people might see Final Fantasy IX as slow is literally only like, so like, it's only like this one little instance, like right at the beginning of the game, where battles like they only seem slow because they don't happen a lot.
There's not a lot you can do yet. Yeah.
Whoop de fucking do. Welcome to every Final Fantasy game.
To be fair, Final Fantasy IX does have like that thing where it's like a bit like overindulgent in like its animations when it enters battles. It does like the really big like scene, like camera pans. This is like that to the nth degree because then everything's got to get into place. Everything's got to do their little like fun animation that gets really boring really fast. You didn't think it would. Like even dude, it was funny. I had said, oh, by the way, this character is useless, and it's really annoying because 75% of his attacks miss. But it's really funny the first couple times they fail. And then your brother was here, watched it, and he laughed the first like 3 or 4 times the guy failed. And even if he's like, yeah, if he could just land an attack, that'd be great.
You know what the worst part is? I can hear Riley. I can literally hear, is he gonna hit?
Yeah, like seriously, I was like, dude, it's funny every time. And then suddenly it's just like all of a sudden it's just like snaps. You're like, dude, can you please just land an attack?
Hit the fucking dude.
Okay, so regular combat, useless. Completely useless. And it's not good. The puzzles are constantly repetitive. No enemy variants. Like, literally what you do in the first, like, 5 hours of the game, that's it. That is the combat for the whole game. Except for the boss battles. And the boss battles are genuinely incredible. They are really, really fun.
See, I find that interesting you say that, because I remember when we were initially talking about boss battles a couple weeks ago, that you weren't so sure that they were going to be...
Yeah,
to be fair, I said it too. I was like, they don't look
I didn't
fun.
like the reverse thing, where like the boss is in the middle. I was like, that's going to get boring. No, they've genuinely made the way you encounter the bosses super fun, because, specifically, the bosses mess with the board a lot in their own unique way. So, genuinely, that puzzle is such an interesting thing to solve. And every turn, when the boss ramps something up or does a new move or has a new phase, and they mess with the board in a different way or, like, more extreme way, you're constantly on this, like, okay, how do I figure this out? Like, how am I going to get there? So, like, I've got to... So, the way it works, so, like, you start at the outside of the circle, and they start in the middle. Mm-hmm. And there's arrows and different icons on the board, and you've got to basically basically guide Mario
So
through
you're
the
basically
board.
trying to make a path to the boss.
To the boss or to a particular action, and your goal is to try to hit as many things along the way as possible that benefit you, like whether it be an attack bonus, or whether it be like an extra action that you can do, whether it be an on switch to turn on a special ability that you want a thing that you can land on, things like that. Or you've got to make sure that your positioning of where you're going to hit the boss is accurate, because they may be weak to hammers only when this thing is open in this one particular spot. So if you end up in the front, you're just going to whack the shell or something. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot more to it. And it might just be the different attack, whether you want to do a hammer, whether you want to do a jump, or whether you want to do the special ability or whatever. There's so much more to it. And because they messed the board so much, you can't, like, you literally will go into the playing, like, okay, I see the thing, we're fine. They hit the board, and you're like, okay. And you're like trying to like piece it back together, but it's really engaging. But the problem with the boss fights is there's like 12, like 10 or 12. So it's like 5, which is a lot of bosses, but it's like 5. That's like 1% of your time battling in the game is bosses. 99% is the really boring, drudging thing that just drags the whole experience down. Genuinely, because this isn't a spoiler to the video, because the video is more focused on the combat and how to fix it and what we can do with it. But genuinely, Origami King is seriously a freaking really great game if you remove the combat. But with that combat, it's constantly interrupted. It's constantly a slog. It's just not enjoyable to play with. The puzzles are way too easy and also then way too repetitive. And people say, oh, it's aimed at kids. There are parts in this game that are not aimed at children. There are very complicated and really cool, engaging puzzles that are in the world that definitely kids would definitely more struggle on. There's way too much reading for this to be marketed as a kids game, which I know like a lot of us people who played games when we were older realized reading's fine. Like you play like Final Fantasy 3 or whatever, Final Fantasy 4, you're like, dude, I love this reading. But people make that argument. We'll make the same argument about the kid thing there if I was to make a counterpoint. But yeah, it's just shame. Seriously, it's like, it is an incredible game if you cut the combat. They need to just cut it entirely and get rid of this whole RPG thing. Because that interview that they just did too, I'm not sure if you saw stuff on that. They said like, we can't add new things or new characters to the Mario universe that would stray from the Mario universe. So like they've locked themselves there. Apparently that's a Miyamoto thing. Miyamoto made that recommendation.
So here's my argument to that. Why then? See, to me that just makes the universe stale. That you can't add things to it.
Yeah.
Why can't you add a character? What is it gonna hurt to add a character?
Well, so like they can add like dragons and giant turtles and all this stuff in Origami King because they just turn them into origami, so they're not really part of the Mario universe.
But that's dumb.
Yeah, and it's really like contrived. You have to always come up with a gimmick that's contrived in order for you to allow you to make new characters.
That's not how that works.
It's just not fun. It's not like it's just not fun in general. Like you're really
that's
like limiting yourself.
Game design. That's all that is.
Yeah, and like yes, like limitations can provide creative solutions, but at the same time, it's like trying to be like, okay, run the race with one leg. Why would you willingly handicap yourself? You know what I mean? Like you've got 2 great legs and you can do the sprint. Like go up to Usain Bolt and be like, you got 2 great legs, you can make the run. But wouldn't it be funner if we cut the leg off? No. Will he find a way around it? Sure, and that's impressive.
Except
it doesn't make it like a good thing to do, though.
Yeah, but that wouldn't happen because Usain Bolt would say no and then run away, and then
That's
like,
true.
shit, that's literally the fastest dude on the planet. I'm not even gonna chase you.
Wouldn't be able to catch him. But it's just such a strange thing. And also, I know some people are saying like, "See, Miyamoto said it." To be fair, I love Miyamoto just as much as any gamer.
He said Star Fox Zero was.
That was literally what I was gonna say. Yeah, literally, you don't get to say Star Fox Zero is the most underrated Wii U game. And me still not
and have
be like,
the Wonderful 101 exist.
Yeah, or like, dude, or Bayonetta 2, or things like that. Like, you don't just get to have those games exist and be like, yeah, Miyamoto, I 100% agree with you. That was definitely Star Fox Zero. Mint game.
No.
It wasn't very good. Yeah, so I don't care if it's a Miyamoto thing. He's wrong in this case. Genuinely wrong in this case. There's a lot of other weird things that they have about Paper Mario. Like, they need to keep it an RPG or whatever. Like, clearly not. Just get rid of it. Shed the skin. You clearly don't want to make an RPG. Fine. Just go all in.
Yeah.
Stop trying to like cling to this really awkward design. It's like trying to have like a Metroid Prime game and be like, oh, it's got, but because or like Fire Emblem. You have a Fire Emblem game that like is an action adventure game, but you also got your strategy in there, and it's just like at times you're like, dude, but just let go of the strategy here. Like this title, you're clearly going for something. If they made Fire Emblem game
for real, like. I know Fire Emblem Heroes is a thing, but can we get like a Fire Emblem game that's like an actual action adventure
goodness,
game?
like a Zelda game?
Yeah, I guess kind of.
Or like an action adventure, or maybe like a Souls like style like 3rd-person action combat game. Yeah, I'm in.
That'd be awesome.
I'm super in.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Maybe like the class you get to choose like the actual like promotions in the game, like a hero or a sage or something. Yeah. Oh, dude, Nintendo. I'll take that check.
Fuck off! I said it.
Nah, it's my channel. Our channel.
Hello, my baby. Yeah.
So that's Origami King.
I'm tired.
I'm exhausted too thinking about it. Dude, there are genuinely times when I was playing that game. I was like, can you please
just end?
Like, no, seriously, every combat encounter, I'm like, oh, I'm so bored. It's to a point now where I also, by the way, you get this. This is how show how easy this game is in combat. You get a thing really early on, and it's a mechanic that you can like buy and reuse, but it's basically like a fairy in a bottle, where if you die, you get in combat, you get like a free chance. You come back up. The first one that they give you in the first tutorial area of the game, I still have equipped to me. That's how, like, dude, I haven't died. So I take that back. I did game over at one point because I purposely chose these dialogue options that were like basically F you. Like, yes, so like, are you willing to die for this? Yes. You do. You just straight up die. It's game over and it resets you. So I was like, I didn't think you'd do it. Okay, dude, yeah, shame on me. That's fine.
Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice.
Origami King.
Fool. I forgot what he says.
Fool me,
Fuck.
fool me, can't fool king.
Fuck, that's what it is. Oh my god.
So besides that, we also had the Xbox Showcase.
It was okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
So I'll be honest, right? So I didn't get to watch it. I was at work, but I watched like clips.
Yeah.
And then when I got home, I sat down and I watched the actual conference. So I was really with Xbox, like up until this showcase. It's not that I'm not with them, but this showcase didn't sway me one way or the other.
I don't think it's supposed to. You know what I really get is what's happening here? I think this is Microsoft's little like hiccup to like call the bluff of Sony. Like Microsoft doesn't want to be the first one to announce their release date or their price point. So this is their like, by the way, here's all these games that are happening. Your turn. Like, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, kind of.
And I'm not saying it as an excuse for them. I'm just saying, like, I think that's their goal. Like, hey, here we have a ton of games coming.
Like, we're obviously going to talk about like the games and stuff, but like overall, it was okay.
One problem I did have, and I think it's cool, but I also don't like, is that they showed a lot of games in their pre-show that they didn't show in the original show. And if I didn't know that, I wouldn't have gone back and looked at all the game releases and seen that. Because it was at the end of the showcase, he was like, not Phil Spencer, I forget the other guy's name, Matt Booty. And
sorry,
how inappropriate.
Butts.
Yeah. But he was like, we've shown you 10 these and 22 games. And it's been like 11, maybe 12.
What I missed?
Okay, like 15 tops, but like 22. So I went back and they're like, oh yeah, they announced like 7 games during the pre-show. Like, oh, well, that's glad that wasn't on your VOD. I would have never wanted to see those 7 games. One of which actually looks really cool. So, yeah, we'll get to the games. Overall, yeah, to be fair, it's one of those, like, I agree with you. I don't think it moved me. It didn't move me to be like, yes, I'm definitely for Xbox, or I'm definitely against it in any way. I'm just kind of like, yeah, if you were to ask me right now, gun to my head, PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, I'd say, dude, drop the gun or I'm going to beat the snot out of you. And then I'm going to lose that battle and I'm going to get shot. So if that doesn't happen, I say Xbox right now. If I was to choose between those two. If I had to.
Yeah.
And that's not by a lot because Sony has good games coming out. But the thing is, as a whole, as a market, like as a platform, the Xbox seems like it's going to be a better platform. It doesn't really matter to me too much because I'm going to own both because there's always going to be exclusives on both that I'm going to want to play because it's just the curse of me wanting to play every game.
I was hoping to just get away with getting a Series X and having that for a while. But if Horizon Zero Dawn 2 launches with PlayStation 5...
There's no way.
I know Tanya's going to want it.
Is there going to... I feel like they need to let go of that exclusivity deal and just put it on PC. Because that is... So if that's one thing that we can definitely talk about overall before we get into the game specifically, is the Xbox Showcase. Literally everything is...
coming to PC?
Xbox and PC. Or Xbox One and Xbox Series X and PC. Or Xbox Series X and PC. Like, it's everything. Like, they have crossed their streams so hard here. It's great.
Never cross the stream.
They did it, dude. This is what.
Are you dying?
Yeah. Dude, the whole no cross the streams thing, I think, was a capitalistic lie. I have no idea. I was just trying to say buzzwords. Someone told me I say too many buzzwords. So
The fuck is a buzzword?
a buzzword, it's like a thing of like you say like, oh, it's like, remember how like, like in marketing for a while every game was open world with RPG elements, right? Like those types of things.
Okay, fair
Apparently, I say a lot of buzzwords. So I listened to our entire last podcast because I was like, shoot, do I really? I feel bad if it just sounds like samey like that. I don't know what this person thinks what buzzwords are. Also, they were talking about how I used them to trash talk games, and I was like, I think our last episode
It was fairly.
I don't think it was very negative.
I'm trying to think of the. If
We knocked Paper Mario.
Yeah, I mean, like, whatever.
It has to be a Color Splash fan.
Oh no, we had a podcast where we didn't fart rainbows and eat cookies.
Dude, it has to be.
Oh no! Fuck off.
It's like all these people who are still about this whole Ubisoft thing. They're like, dude, you can't leave Ubisoft alone.
No, they
right?
suck.
Yeah, you're like, bro, yeah, I liked Assassin's Creed too. But these dudes are raping people, man. Like, that's not, I'm not just going to turn my head at that. Like, yeah, I can be like, okay, like, I can hate Bobby Kotick all day.
Because everyone hates Bobby Kotick.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I'm just suddenly going to be like, oh, I hate every Activision thing ever. Like, no, I hate Bobby Kotick. I hate that guy. But like,
I hate that guy.
But like, yeah, like I just find it funny, the Ubisoft thing. Can you just stop and just let me play the games? Bro, Watch Dogs Legion is gonna be there and you can play it. And while you're playing it, you can still say, man, this game is good and or bad, but this bullshit over here to the side, this whole raping people, ain't cool. Like, they don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Yeah, like.
Jeez. I don't get it. Maybe so I am someone who, I don't know what it's actually called, but I'm someone who can separate the art from the artist. Like, for example.
Because you have to.
So I think you have to in time. For example, I love Pathfinder and I want to read Ender's Game, but Orson Scott Card is a homophobe, transphobe, etc. Like a lot of these bad things. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't like the guy and I won't support him. And like from here on out, yeah, I probably won't buy as many of his books, but like I already own these, I'm going to read them. Because if they're good stories, they're good stories.
That's like those people that like, when Nike signed Colin Kaepernick and everyone was fucking burning their shoes and their jerseys. It's like, brother, you just destroyed a $300 pair of shoes because you fervently don't like a dude you've never met.
Yeah, like I get it, but I also really don't at the same time. But anyway, but yeah, like the only thing I can think of about those comments is that I dissed Paper Mario, which Paper Mario fans are. Wow.
Now, well,
wow. So the first game they showed officially. On the actual showcase.
I think I read your notes. I think we're gonna differ highly on some of this stuff.
So yeah, so Halo Infinite. One of the best things I do want to at least talk about it is the fact that they literally opened it with just raw gameplay.
Yes.
Out the gate.
I didn't like that it took about 2 minutes of cutscenes to get to the gameplay, but
it looked like they were just literally trying to show this off as like this is a level, like a Halo level that you're gonna play. Like they're trying to give you that real Halo experience. Because there's probably a lot of people who are younger or who've just never actually gotten into Halo still, who maybe always been curious, but it's like for example, if people didn't know that Final Fantasy stories or games were individual stories, imagine trying to like tell someone like, oh hey, by the way, do you want to play Final Fantasy 16? It's like, bro, dude, I'd be so far behind.
You instantly overwhelmed.
Oh, and every game is like 50 to 60 hours long, like, bro. But no, and when you but Halo, I think that they're gonna have to make Halo Infinite be able to be a good jumping point. Because like Guardians doesn't work as a jumping point. 4 doesn't work as a jumping point.
4 doesn't work as anything.
No, it's true. But like Reach works as a jumping point. That was a very good job. But Infinite, I think, needs to be that. What else did I write? I don't remember what I wrote. Oh yeah, I don't have a lot to really say, to be honest. Have the grappling hook, like Metroid. That's neato.
That's pretty neato.
Yeah, that's neato. There is definitely some like texture pop in during the gameplay, which a lot of people are like really definitely talking about.
Yeah, I didn't notice it until I read your thing and I watched the trailer.
Oh yeah, I noticed it immediately.
And I did notice it. I also noticed that parts of that gameplay trailer look incredible.
Yeah.
And then other parts don't look bad, but they don't look like Series X. And I know this is also coming out on Xbox One.
You mean like visually?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I know this is also coming out on Xbox One, but Xbox One can hold its own, like graphically. Like,
dude, yeah. Like I just played a Plague Tale on it and it's That game's not even like that pushing the bar, and it looks really good.
It's a fucking damn good looking game. So my thing with Halo Infinite, overall, I loved it. Mainly because it looked more like Halo than the last two.
Yes, that's a definite.
So my biggest issues with 4 especially, 5. So I'm someone who always says, if you want to leave Halo 5 liking it, play the first 7 missions and then shut the game off. Like, I genuinely think like the first 7 missions of Halo 5 are actually great. And then it just gets really, really bad.
I can feel you.
4 and 5 feel like this really bad tipping point where they're trying to reinvent the wheel rather than innovate. Like, nothing about 4 or 5 felt different, but felt like they were trying to make it different. Like, I understand you want to introduce a new enemy. The enemy sucks. You want to introduce new guns. The guns suck. You want to introduce new environments. Your new environments suck. Like, this is the part I don't get, right? 343 literally designed the multiplayer for Reach, which means they had to be within the same dev quarters as Bungie when they were making Reach.
Yeah, no, maybe not entirely, though.
Not entirely, but
Yeah.
they have to know how to make Halo feel like Halo at this point.
The only thing, though, is that Halo multiplayer and single player are very different.
Yeah,
Like,
but-
if you're going to play, like, Halo 3 single player and then play Halo 3 multiplayer, like, I genuinely...
Why would I do that when I can play Reach?
Well, I was just going to say, because like I was going to say, though, I genuinely really dislike Halo 3 multiplayer. I think it's easily the weakest of the first 4. Okay, that's not fair. The first game's definitely the weakest of the first 4. But, like, I think it's easily weaker than 2 based on map design and the way the guns interact and the way the balancing is. Like, all of that I think is worse. And Reach, I think, is way better than 3, again, like, on top of it. So... But the single player for 3 is actually genuinely really good, except the story's not great. But like the gameplay,
I mean, it plays fine.
Yeah,
the
the
story
gameplay
just
is
sucks.
great. Yeah, the gameplay is great. Yeah, I can definitely understand where you're coming from with 4 and 5, where they're trying to like get their. It feels like 343 should have done with 4 is we need to make sure we can do this right first, but they didn't. They tried to do something brand new to themselves. They tried to make a 343 game before making a Halo game. And it made the Halo fans go, bro, we don't know you.
Yeah.
Like, we know Halo, and you've just bad touched Halo. And, like, that's not good.
That's
no good.
But, I don't know. Design-wise, 4 and 5 just don't... Like, I could sit there and play the first 4 hours of Halo 2, and then sit there and play the first 4 hours of Halo 4, and I don't think I could tell somebody that Halo 4 feels like Halo. Like, at all. Like, it doesn't.
No, it feels off.
Another thing is, as far as aesthetic, I don't like what they were... So I had to think about this for a second before I came here, right? So, think about Halo. When I think about Halo, I think of really jagged industrial designs, very grimy, war-torn, all that. 4 and 5 are very round and glossy and pretty and...
Like, they went the hyper photorealism route in the Halo universe.
But it doesn't feel war-torn. Like, Halo is a universe that is literally built on multiple galaxies, multiple universes, multiple races fighting each other constantly.
Yeah, literally, they're trying to out-survive each other so they don't die to the other.
Like,
yeah, on planets that are literally meant to kill things on galactic masses.
Yeah,
like or scales or whatever. Like, yeah,
but
it's meant to be bad.
The first thing I noticed in the Halo Infinite trailer was it looked and sounded and felt more like Halo.
Definitely.
So that is what initially I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch. I was trying to go in as unbiased as possible because, like, as much as I say I don't want to play Halo again, I just want another good Halo. I just really want another good
That's
Halo.
like me why I played Origami King. It's like, I need to know, is it bad? I need to know. I'm finna, dude.
I'm finna Paper Mario, dog.
Like hardcore.
But there's a couple things like I wasn't super crazy about. The grappling hook, I mean, like, I like.
I'll be honest, I'm not
if it wasn't
not interested
there,
in
I
it.
wouldn't
Yeah, I'm
miss
not.
it. Like,
it looks neato, but I don't really care.
I think overall, no one's gonna use it. They'll use it for the first mission or two. They'll never use it.
It's kind of like the grappling hook with, like, the Metroid games, where it's like the grappling hook is designed to be a bad screw attack.
Yeah, the only time
Right? Like it's a stepping stone.
Yeah, the only time you use that grappling hook more is when Metroid Prime 3 came out. You literally use it to like rip armor off bosses or rip doors open.
Okay, so if they can integrate gameplay to where the grappling hook is more than just traversal and it's also in combat,
cool, I'm in.
Yeah, then there could be way more interesting boss encounters, or not boss encounters, but in general encounters.
Yeah.
But they didn't show that though in the gameplay that I remember.
No, they showed you hook into a couple enemies, and you pick up a couple canisters and throw
I saw
them.
that stuff. Yeah, I like that. I like that you can interact with the environment way more. Is that a buzzword?
I have no idea.
Interact.
Maybe. Shut up.
Environment. Our game has environments.
It has scenery.
Shoot, it's awesome, dude. I'm in. Open world with RPG elements.
The second thing is, like I said, like we said at the beginning, visuals. There are parts that look great, and then there are other parts that they don't look bad. They look off.
Yeah,
They look very pastel. Like they look very flat.
So the thing I definitely noticed is that it's like the races of the game and the architecture and everything looks in this like goofy alien, no pun intended, but like alien thing that just looks off. Like it feels fantasy, which I think is cool about Halo. Is it feels realistic enough to be happening while also being clearly a fantasy. Like a good example is this Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Like you look at some of the alien races of Mass Effect and you're like, bro, they look goofy as heck and they look kind of silly, but at the same time, they're clearly built into this reality. But what I have a weird thing with is like the actual environment, like the grass and the ground and the rocks, all that stuff looked so photorealistic that then like the enemies, like seeing a grunt walk through that,
Rock through a meadow.
yeah, like rah! And then throwing a giant purple bomb that glows, like it's like dude,
Clashes.
Yeah, dude, it's a bit odd, and that may just be something of like seeing it for the first time and not playing it. Like playing it for hours, you may just like it kind of may like assimilate.
I'm kind of hoping like maybe they release the demo before the game comes out.
So that would be really cool because they've talked about hosting demos off of your PC and off of the Xbox One X.
Yeah. So the only other thing I really have to say about it, and I saw this in your notes, so I know we'll agree on this. That main villain guy, what the fuck was that speech?
I don't know, dude. I clocked out.
Like,
I genuinely clocked
okay, so
out.
up until like the point where he becomes realistic, like when he's just that hologram, I think it's fine.
I think it looks cool. There,
I think
yeah.
it's like
he's
not,
clearly unfinished.
Yeah,
I think is what it is. He's unpolished.
It's like a fine speech. Like I wouldn't.
What I think that speech is more than just the game.
Yeah,
I think that was clearly meant to be like a social speech on like the world as a whole right now. It just came off a bit soapboxy.
Yeah.
It was mostly just it was so long. It felt like I was reading something. It felt like I was reading Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged, and I had to read that. Like, by the way, this is no exaggeration. If you've never read Atlas Shrugged or Fountainhead, which gaming related, that's what the BioShock games are based off of. Is Atlas Shrugged and Fountainhead. There is a speech by a character named John Galt who it's literally like a chapter is his monologue, like at this group of people. It's long. Like I'm talking, you spend like an hour and a half. It's ridiculous. That's kind of what it felt like. You're like, dude, just make your
point.
Yeah.
Like,
so like I get what they were trying to do. I just think it missed. But I think I do appreciate. So I took it as a social comment on like the world right now, something like kind of beyond the realms of the game. I don't think that speech is going to be in the game personally.
No, probably not.
But so like I appreciate that. I think it missed, but I appreciate it, and I think that's cool that they at least tried to do something. I think it's really cool they tried to do something unique, separate from the game to apply to the world, which is really weird. What was it? Is it Joe Rogan? Is his new comedy special called Strange Times, or is that Bill Burr? But like someone's new comedy special is called like Strange Times or Weird Times, something like that. It's like that's the most accurate thing. Like I've seen it a lot. It's just so weird. So yeah, I don't have much more to say on Halo. The gameplay does look more like Halo, which I do like, even down to the really stiff controlling almost. And I was like, I'm glad you're there because it kind of what made Halo feel good actually is that stiffness in where it needed to be stiff.
Yeah.
So we'll cut through a bunch of these because I don't have a lot to say on most of them besides they're there.
Yeah.
So we'll go through.
Another thing I noticed as we're going through these is, I think part of why this conference showcase, whatever you want to call it, turned me off a little bit was.
I'll turn you on.
Wait a minute.
I'm going to show you my Wi-Fi router and my fridge because those memes aren't old yet.
Your what? Oh, the
PS5 XP.
Yeah.
Those memes were old like the day after. I was like,
but like a lot of these were just cinematic trailers. And like I get you're not gonna have gameplay for everything, but like I'm at a point in my life, especially like I say a point in my life like it mattered last year, but I'm at a point where like I don't want my time wasted. Like,
no, I agree.
I understand you're trying to... A cinematic trailer, if that's all you have, is just kind of trying to convey what the game is going to feel like or what it wants you to feel when you're watching the trailer.
Yeah, so if it like nails, or if the cinematic trailer is clearly... If it's making you clearly feel something, whether it be funny or sad or epic or like intense or maybe like existential, like making you feel something... then I think it succeeded as at least giving you a teaser of like, this is our emotional goal to the game. It's beyond just, we're making a video game. Like we'll talk about one in particular, but like there was one in particular that genuinely the trailer plays and I was like I can like feel it. Yeah. I genuinely felt, it was like, that wasn't a waste of my time. That was worth it. You showed no gameplay, but I at least know where you're going and I'm interested to keep an eye out on your name.
Yeah.
Like for when it's coming out.
But yeah, my thing was just it was a lot of cinematic trailers.
It was like, a lot of them. Overwhelmingly.
Yeah, and I was like fine, I guess, but
yes.
It just gets frustrating.
I just can't get myself excited about it. This is exactly it. Okay. So let's go to the big one. The big one that everyone's excited about. Yo, actually, hold on. Okay, let's jump then. State of Decay 3. That trailer actually owned.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's actually really good.
Pretty dope.
Yeah, like that as like a little short story. I was like, yo, I'm in. And I saw State of Decay 3, I'm like, oh, I don't like those games.
Shit.
Yeah. But I was like, dude, that short story with that girl, I was in. And the whole deer roaring at the end, I was like, what is happening?
And then it says State of Decay, and you're like,
yeah, I looked over
shit.
I looked over at Brent, I was like, yeah, I don't want it. Because I was like, this looks awesome. So the big one, though, the big one that everyone's talking about, that my voice cracked because I'm still hitting puberty, was Fable. So I have a weird thing with Fable.
I like one game.
Yeah. Like 1.5, maybe, at top.
So, like, here's the deal.
I'm really confused by this. Because let's all be real. Let's all be real here. Let's get a couple things straight with Fable, and I'm not trying to just like make people say people shouldn't be excited about a game, because there's a reason I played all 3 Fable games, and it's because the premise of the first game was incredible. Peter Molyneux is a liar. He's a liar and a false advertiser. He's a guy who has incredible, great aspirations and can never fulfill them. Yeah, he just cannot. He, even down to, remember that cube thing? That app on your phone where you like hit the thing or whatever and it would like break down the cube, and it was this like global experiment where everybody and the last person at the very end would get like to be they'd get a revenue share of the new game they'd be making or whatever. Do you remember that thing?
Yeah.
Like, it's a really cool premise, except there's a couple really bad fail safes, and the fact that the kid, one, first off, never got really any money because that game didn't go anywhere, and two, there's like a dude who like downloaded the app like the day before he won it because he was bored and saw it had a lot of downloads, and it's like, dude, there are people who've been literally like at their desk at work hitting their phone on the left just to get more taps in to hopefully get to the middle, and this random kid's like, yeah, I hit it twice and I get 5% revenue share of your next game or whatever. Like, but anyway, he has a great ideas. So he's a guy who has a lot of great ideas, but he doesn't fulfill them. Fable 1 is an incredible game. A really great action-adventure game. Fable 2 is worse, but a really cool game if you can get over the combat, I think. Or maybe Fable 2 is maybe better. It depends on what you're looking for. Looking for gameplay or story, Fable 2 will be better or worse, depending on what you prefer. And Fable 3 is a giant letdown.
Fable 3... Actually, I have another funny story about Brandon, right? So, my thing is, Fable 1... It's fine. I mean, I wasn't blown away by it. I thought it was cool. But nothing about Fable 1 was I like, oh, fuck yeah, this is like the game. I was like, it's cool. Fable 2, I actually really enjoyed.
The gameplay is better in Fable 2, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're a gameplay person, Fable 2 is the game. If you're a story person,
yeah.
If you're a story person, Fable 1 is way better as a story.
So Fable 3 comes out, right? I played like 6 hours of it. Maybe. And I was
Fable
like...
what? Which one?
Fable 3.
Okay. Oh, Fable... Okay, I'm sorry.
I played like 6 hours of Fable 3, and I was like, I'm out. this sucks.
It's not good.
It's horrible.
It's really not
and
good.
I thought it was just me, so I looked up like reviews and shit. No, nobody likes Fable 3.
No, that was the thing. It's weird.
Except, so here's the story. So like it was like 8 months after Fable 3, or maybe it was like a year after Fable 3 came out. It went on Games for Gold with 360. It was a free game. So Brandon downloaded it, right? So Brandon, I don't remember, it might have been me, Jake, and Brandon. We were talking, and Brandon brings up Fable 3 and how he really, really likes it. And I was like, you like it? He's like, yeah, well, it was free.
That's the benchmark. That is the benchmark.
I was like, would you pay for it? And I don't even remember if I got an answer. Like, he's like, well, it was free, so it doesn't hurt nothing. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
To be fair, like, we're not trying to meme on it. If you remember when Fable 3 came out, everyone was like, this is the worst by far.
It's
the
like
worst
if
of
you
the
took literally
franchise.
the worst elements of 1 and the worst elements of 2 and went, and that's Fable 3.
Everyone was disappointed when that game came out, so I was really surprised that there was so much praise for it. Also, the only other Fable game that existed, at least to my knowledge,
was Legends.
yeah, that Kinect game.
Yeah.
And no thanks. No thanks at all. So it was really weird to see Fable get announced, which, by the way, the trailer is like, it's quirky Fable self.
Yeah.
But it was so strange. Like, when I saw Fable, because they were like, and one last thing, and I was expecting something big. So to get Fable, I was like, oh, okay. I'm a bit disappointed. I was expecting something big. But I'm not, like, upset by it. Like, Fable's Fable. Fable's cool. It's a cool idea still. Cool universe. But, wow, the internet is like, dude, there's a new Fable game coming out. And I remember, like, I thought we all, like, went off this boat already. Like, I thought we already checked out.
So one thing I didn't know is that this is a complete reboot of Fable. It's not being made by Lionhead Studios. It's being made by a different studio, and I guess it's a complete 100% reboot of Fable.
Sure, I'm fine.
So, like,
I could be in.
cool, but I was kind of like you, where, like, I get to the end of the conference, and they're like, we have one more thing.
They built it up.
And, like, the trailer looked, I was like, oh, this could be a really cool, like, fantasy game, blah, blah, blah,
I was
blah.
hoping it was like a rare RPG.
And then it comes up over, and it says Fable, and I'm like,
Yeah, I was just like,
huh.
for me, it was like the wind got so down my sails. I was like, I don't know, I'm just... I don't know.
So much someone took the wind out of my sails. It was like someone took a knife to the sail and expected me to keep moving.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just really strange. It was really strange to me. I'm glad there are a ton of people excited for it. I'm just not one of them.
Like, I don't wish it to suck.
No, of
I would
course
love
not.
this new studio
Especially
to really...
if it's a reboot. Like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, I want them to do well. Because, for example, some reboots have been really good. Like, the Tomb Raider reboots. Holy cow, they're incredible. They're incredible. They are easily the best of the Tomb Raider games.
Easy. No contest.
Yeah. They're incredible. Yeah, it's just really strange. That I was just surprised.
I mean, I hope it's good. I mean,
same.
For what it's worth.
So we can cut through a bunch of these because they didn't show a lot. But we have Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. Nothing really happened.
Literally, the coolest part about that is they're making a YouTube series about it.
That is the coolest part.
That's...
Like, they're doing, like, open development, kind of like Ashes of Creation for the MMO. Which, by the way, check it out. They've been showing, like, so every week, every month they do this, like, update. Sorry, Ash's side note. But every month they do this, like, live development stream.
Yeah.
That they do. They do for like an hour and a half to 2 hours or whatever. They just talk about the game, answer questions or whatever, show some things like new models they've developed in the game or whatever. The last like couple months, they've just been playing the game for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and just like showing new systems that it can do, showing how you play the game, showing the things about the world, answering the questions along the way.
Is Ashes of Creation the one that's supposed to be more like old school, doesn't hold your hand? Is that one, or
there's
is that
two of them? There's Pantheon, which is like Pantheon's like the old school EverQuest
Pantheon's
MMO.
what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Ashes of Creation is way more like Lineage, Arc Age, modern MMO-ish combat kind of thing. It genuinely looks really great. But they have like their entire development thing is like completely open. Like they post like everything. Like, how do you feel about this? What do you think about this? Class design ideas, like whatever. They talk about it. It's really cool. So if they can do anything even remotely to that, I would love that, because Hellblade is such an incredible game. That is like up there, I think, of like games of last generation that just like we need to remember for like a lot, for coming out as a budget title with a AAA polish that games don't do, and it sold incredibly well, for a game that deals with mental illness in a very genuine, mature way. That doesn't feel soapboxy or preachy either. That just like isn't just like, hey, by the way, don't forget about mental illness. People have problems, and you're like, oh yeah, don't we all, bro?
Sick.
But at the same time, you're also just like, dude, schizophrenia. How do you do that in a video game? You can make that really bad. and they didn't. They made it really awesome. And like, not that schizophrenia is awesome, but like the way, the impact of it is really good. So anyway, that's happening. They had 2 new RPGs announced by Obsidian. That's cool. The first one is called Avowed, which they didn't show anything really besides cinematic trailer. But they gave a big key hint at the very end when it showed the dude pull out his like magic and his sword in first person. And wow, did that not give an Elder Scrolls vibe.
So my only thing with that's actually a complaint I had about that. And it's not even the game. It's the way the community took that.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see anything on it.
Literally every comment on that. If you go to that trailer on YouTube right now, I don't know if it's changed now, but like every comment has been like, yo, this looks like Elder Scrolls. This looks like Elder Scrolls. I hope it's as good as Elder Scrolls. And it's like, bro, Elder Scrolls isn't the only Western RPG that exists. Like,
it's true.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it is weird that pretty much like, especially Skyrim is like held up to this like really odd standard that. That's a really great top comment, by the way.
What?
People don't remember, but South Park: The Stick of Truth was made by Obsidian, and it was a really great game. That's true. That was a great game. But yeah, the weird thing is, yeah, there's a lot of like really weird.
I mean,
fanaticism towards Elder Scrolls.
Better than Skyrim.
Well, then that's fine. But yeah, like my thing is, though, seriously, if I'm being real, if there is a company that I want to challenge,
Obsidian.
If I want someone to challenge Bethesda right now, it's Obsidian. They just made the Outer Worlds, which by every account is better than Fallout 4, from everything I've been basically hearing. Especially if you enjoy like the more RPG side of things. If you enjoy not RPG side of it at all, then apparently Fallout 4 is a little bit better from like the raw gameplay of it. But that's not. Fallout gameplay sucks. Let's be real. Fallout 3 gameplay is bad.
I gave Fallout 4 a shot. I really did because I wanted to like a Fallout game.
Dude, let's just be real. Fallout 3's gameplay is not good. Fallout New Vegas, I absolutely adore. Its gameplay is not good. Like, the gunplay is not good.
It sucks.
Yeah. But the Outer Worlds apparently is, like, way better in every way. Obsidian's also been making the Pillars of Eternity games, which have been incredible throwback games to Baldur's Gate. And now we're going to have them challenge. So they've already challenged Bethesda with Outer Worlds. And now they're going to be challenging Bethesda with an possible Elder Scrolls game, which I'm in. Because I would love an alternative to Elder Scrolls, because everything about Skyrim is a direction that I didn't like, off of Oblivion, which is also a lot of direction I didn't like from Morrowind. So I don't trust Bethesda to do it right. Also, I just don't trust Bethesda in general.
Right now?
No. Also, the fact that they've admitted they're going to keep using this damn engine.
That sucks.
Which has it just has massive limitations, man. Like, you've got it. Like, imagine Final Fantasy 15 running on the same engine that made Final Fantasy 6, bro. Like, you've just got to let it go. You just gotta let it go.
Imagine Final Fantasy 15 was good.
No, I can't. I've tried. I tried for like 70 hours. Not that I didn't spend that long at all. So anyway, we have that. We also have another one which looks really weird, which is Grounded. That game looks really weird, made by Obsidian.
Awesome.
It looks like a horde mode, maybe survival game, 4-player thing where you're literally playing Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in the backyard against giant rats against like rats and bugs and mosquitoes and ants. Like, it looks so dorky.
Let's not forget the spider.
Oh yeah, but it looks so dorky and fun though. That game looks genuinely like the most anti-Obsidian thing I've ever seen in my life.
The only thing about that reveal I didn't like, it's literally they said it's coming to early access after this conference, and it's like,
dude, I'm so sick of early access.
Great.
Elijah's been trying to get me to play the game. I do want to try it at some point. Is it Rogue Company? I think on the Switch. It looks really cool. I just can't get into early access right now. It drives me up a wall. Like, I'm just so sick of it. I'd rather just play the game. I'd rather just play the game when it comes out at this point. I have so many games that I could be playing. Like Hades. I want to play Hades so bad from Supergiant. I'm not waiting. I'm not playing early access. I'll just wait.
No.
But I don't have much more to say about Grounded, but it looks fun. It looks so anti-Obsidian.
It looks
like a goofy,
like,
lighthearted joy of a time when everything Obsidian makes is dark, serious, and grand and epic. So I'm really excited. We got new Forza Motorsport announced.
It looks like cars.
No, it looks like cars. Well, we know, because to be fair, people love Forza. Actually, if it was a Forza Horizon game, I'd be excited too, because Forza Horizon's great. State of Decay 3, which again, I just don't like the games, but I'm glad they're there. Crossfire X, I don't know anything about this game. It's apparently a multiplayer game, and this is like the trailer for their campaign. And it's made by Remedy, and I don't know about this game somehow. Really weird. I'm kind of want to check it out, but I don't know anything about it.
The trailer didn't sell me. It looked pretty.
The trailer looked kind of weird, but then I said Remedy, and I was like, that didn't look weird. Like, it didn't look Remedy weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like okay, I look back at the trailers for Control. To be fair, I didn't know Control was a thing until like months after the fact. Yeah. But when I watched the trailer for Control, you're like, what the heck is happening? Like, that's a Remedy trailer. Like, Alan Wake, you're like, what
How did we
in
get
the
Dragon
world?
Ball in my Tokyo Ghoul?
So we have that. We have Crossfire X. We finally got some gameplay of the Medium, which we talked about in the last Xbox thing. Because we were saying, this sounds like a really cool concept, and the gameplay will break it. Because they didn't show any gameplay. Like, that could be horrible. They finally showed some gameplay. It looks cool. I love the idea of 2 worlds happening simultaneously, and you're basically manipulating between them, but you're still existing in both.
Yeah.
Like, that's really cool. It's not just a matter of like, oh, a guy's running at me from here, I can just smack over to this one and then I'm safe. It's like, no, you have to navigate both at the same time. And it's the cool thing is it's being rendered at the same time, which means you can make those like load times and those flips like way more interesting or way more interactive and immediate to give feel. Is it interactive or immediate? Those buzzwords. The thing that's really cool to me though is that character. They made her like somehow likable to me. I don't know how. They didn't show much with her, but it's like the way she interacted with that world, the way she reacted, I think. But
yeah, I guess. I mean, I could see it.
But I'm glad they showed some gameplay finally of it because we were talking about it. It sounded really spooky and weird and stuff. We're like, let's go try this out.
I just like things that scare me.
It looks really cool. So we have the Gunk.
Dude, I want this game so bad.
Me too.
I want this
Dude,
game.
it's kind of like the first time I saw Journey to the Savage Planet, where I was like genuine joy. Like, this is going to be the most like probably B game, like B minus game, but it's going to be a blast. Like, it's going to be such a grand old time.
Ridiculous.
It's like a little 3D puzzle game or 3D adventure game that looks like it's a little bit of puzzle solving or whatnot. But dude, it looks so charming.
I loved it. I watched the trailer. I was like, oh.
It looks so charming. A new Tetris game. Because, of course.
Why not?
It's a new Tetris game. Why not? You have like the perfect puzzle game. Just keep making stuff about it. And then the big one for Chaz. A game we knew was happening for years. And we never got updates on it. No news, nothing. We just kept hearing it's happening. Is Stalker 2. Yeah. I am just glad, because here's the thing. So the thing, it's like, we know it's happening. I'm excited. We continually know it's happening. I'm excited. But until you see it with any sort of cinematic effect, until you see that logo on the screen, it's not real yet. So smashing a logo, seeing a Stalker 2, I say people, not many people, but people who love Stalker have been waiting for a long time for this game.
I've never played Stalker.
I have decided I am going to do a review at least of one of the 2 games that I really want to do a review for before Stalker 2 comes out, just to like show it off. But Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl is the first game, really good. Clear Sky is a bit of a miss in my mind. Some people like it, but I think most people don't. And Call of Pripyat is an incredible third game. And if you don't know what Stalker is, it's basically take Fallout New Vegas, hardcore mode, and that's Stalker. Where, like, it's very much about the post-apocalyptic survival side of the RPG. And not survival in the, like, oh, I'm going to run over and... Like, it's not Minecraft survival. I'm going to go chop some trees down and build my house and all that stuff. No. It's just trying to live from these things killing you. Yeah. Like, you're in Chernobyl. You are a person here who's trying to find out what's happened, what's going on, all the stuff that's going on in here. You're hired to do this thing, and there is a lot trying to kill you. You just gotta live, and it means like dealing with radiation. It means dealing with bleeding. It means dealing with these animals. It means having limited ammo. It means having to maybe that nice guy who just traded with you might have to die because if he doesn't, you are. Like, it's a really hard stuff to deal with, and it's really, really cool. And it's also based off of 2 great books. One of them I have not read yet, but I've heard is really great. One, which is Roadside Picnic, which is apparently the big inspiration for Stalker. But Stalkers and how they work in these games is also based off of the Metro books, Metro 2033 and Metro 2034. So I am excited just that it's happening. Like, seriously, so stoked.
I'm down to try, because
these are so much better Fallouts.
That trailer looked awesome.
If you are someone who liked the old Fallout games, Stalker is a better game in every way. Like, Stalker Call of Pripyat is an incredible game. It just never got any marketing. It was a very B budget game. Destiny 2 will look better on or an Xbox Series X.
Cool.
Okay. It also does have the Project xCloud thing on mobile. That's kind of neat. That's neat tech. I don't care about the Destiny part, but that's neat tech. Outer Worlds has a DLC coming out. Okay. Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a honey.
Don't nod. That's the name of the company that makes the game.
Yeah, no, I got
it. Okay. I'm excited just because it looks like a different game than Life is Strange, but in the similar style.
Yeah, I mean, I think I leaned a little more towards it looks too much like Life is Strange.
Yeah, I actually genuinely thought it was Life is Strange 3. Because it did look so much like it.
But if it's good, cool.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be great. So you know what? Good for them.
They've got a good track
probably
record right
making
now.
another great interactive story.
And as everybody remembers, ironically, they also made Remember Me, which no one remembers. Don't forget about that.
That's that came out like at the end of the 360, right?
Similar around that time, yeah. And then it didn't do well, so they made a small game called Life is Strange, which made them really a lot of money. Yeah. We had Everwild, a new Rare game.
Okay, so
okay.
It's actually funny, right? So I was at work watching King Italian stream on break, and he was talking about how he wanted to see
on Facebook.
Yeah, it's. That's my. You can check my rant on Discord about that.
I didn't see.
Oh, it's.
I've heard the Facebook gaming app is like, or the streaming app is. Yeah, I've heard it's horrible.
It sucks. Sucks a fat nut. But I was watching him the day of the conference on break, and he said he wanted to see more stuff on Everwild, and I had completely forgotten that this was even a thing last year.
Yeah,
because apparently all we got was a cinematic trailer.
Yeah,
and guess what we got this year?
Yeah,
another.
No, that's fair. That is completely fair to be disappointed by that.
The art style's cool. The creatures look cool.
Yeah,
the characters look cool. I don't know what your game is.
Yeah, seriously.
You can't sell me on Rareware. At least when they announced Sea of Thieves, the thing was, it's a pirate game. I know what I'm going to be doing.
It also genuinely looked like Rare goofiness.
This
doesn't look like Rare goofiness. Like, it could be, but we don't see it.
Like, you didn't tell me anything. You just said, literally again, for the second year in a row, we're making this.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think they need to understand, not just Rare, but Microsoft as well, need to understand that if this was, say, 2000 or 2001, you could just literally throw a game title next to a Rare logo and people would be stoked. If this was 2007, 2008, and you threw anything next to the Blizzard logo, people would be stoked. That's not the case anymore. People don't like a lot of Rare products lately. And Sea of Thieves, a lot of people didn't like for the first year until their year one patch. Yeah, but now it's a great game. But
it's phenomenal.
It genuinely was incomplete at launch. Yeah. So there's definitely a problem there. Yeah, I'm excited because I'm excited because I like to see the weird things Rare does.
Yeah.
But I'm not excited in the sense of I'm excited for this as a game. I'm just I'm excited to see more, I guess is what I should say.
I just want to know.
Yeah,
this comes back to me saying there are too many cinematic trailers. Show me something. Show me at least 30 seconds of something in the fucking trailer, just to show me what this game is.
Yeah.
Nothing. Okay. Well, I hope it's good, I guess.
Or, yeah, because, it's different if it's, a sequel. Hellblade 2 doesn't have to show much because we know, gameplay-wise, because we know what the game is.
Yeah.
We know how it plays. So, yeah. A game that looks really cool that they didn't show during the main thing, but they only showed if you watched the pre-show, was a game called Balan Wonderworld.
Dude.
That game
my God.
actually looks great.
It looks phenomenal.
Looks genuinely great.
It looks insane.
Yeah, it's a quirky, really quirky and weird 3D action platformer. We got two really weird 3D action platformers in this thing. Because we got this and we also got Psychonauts. Which looks just like Psychonauts, and I'm excited.
And we're getting Jack Black in it.
Well, it's in that one song. That's a guarantee.
That's fine.
Yeah, we don't know about the rest of it, but yeah. Both of these look really great. They look very similar. But as far as weirdness.
Yeah.
But Psychonauts still is going for that Tim Schafer weird, which he has a very unique weird.
Yeah.
Balan in Wonderland looks like the way I wrote it is the best way I could describe it is if you took Square Enix and Alice in Wonderland and just made a 3D action platformer out of it. It's just weird.
That sounds about right.
Really strange. The music is great. And the characters that they showed
Square
are
Enix and Alice in Wonderland, pre-Caterpillar scene or post-Caterpillar scene?
Ooh, the Caterpillar scene.
Ooh.
Yes, new Square Enix doesn't mess around. We got Hello Neighbor 2.
Cool.
Don't care. Hello Neighbor was like the biggest disappointment in a long time for me. Everybody hyped that game up, and I was like, dude, I can't wait. I tried it out. I was like,
this sucks.
wait, when does it get good?
It doesn't.
I feel bad because like there's a really cool idea to Hello Neighbor. Hello Neighbor is a really great like I don't know.
Imagine if Hello Neighbor was like an actual horror game where you are a child who sees your neighbor like do something horrific, and you have to try to sneak into his house and find clues. How dope would that be? But instead, we get this weird mishmash. Sneak into your neighbor's house. If he finds you, he kicks you out, and then you get to try again. Like that's
Hello Neighbor is like a great game to stream.
I guess
Not a great game to play.
Even
Like
then,
it's a great game to like react to people having things too, I guess. But I don't know. Whatever. People want it. It's fine.
It's also really janky.
It is very janky. And the last real big one that I want to talk about is a game called Echo Generation, which I think was also only in the pre-show.
Yeah, it was pre-show.
I wrote in the notes here, I've not heard anyone talk about this, and it's because I literally watched the main showcase and then saw a bunch of these things get announced, and people, or all these games people were talking about. Excuse me, and I didn't know what they were, so I was like, oh shoot, where did these come from? Oh, the pre-show.
Oh, sick.
And not a single person mentioned Echo Generation. So when I stumbled upon it, I was like, dude, this looks great. So it mixes this like, so it takes the pixel art style, but the pixels are voxel-based art. So it's like this weird kind of mishmash of like voxel art, like Minecraft, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, and pixel-based art. And it looks really weird and really cool and like really arcadey almost, but like 3D weirdness.
Yeah.
Really strange. But it's a turn-based RPG set in like a modern setting that very much feels like a Mother game, like Earthbound. Like really, the gameplay isn't like Earthbound, but
Earthbound wasn't. I mean, Earthbound inspired the thing it made me think of. But I remember one specific part when I was watching, and I was like, "It's kind of Undertale-y."
Yeah, like it's weird.
Yeah,
it's going clearly to be weird, but it's got like a Stranger Things vibe. Like I was like every time I was feeling the music was like this like 80s, 70s like synth music. Yeah, clearly trying to go for like some weird teenage year stuff. I was like, dude, I'm like really in.
Yeah, like
I'm really in, and they showed a lot of gameplay.
Yeah,
like almost all of it was gameplay.
Sold.
I'm really in. Yeah, I just don't have no one was talking about this. I probably wanted to put this up front actually and just be like, hey, Echo Generation, check it out. But
oh, you didn't make it to the end? Shit.
Sucks to be us.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So I don't have any more about the Xbox, Randy. Do you have any more about the Xbox?
I just wish they showed more gameplay.
Yeah, same.
So
what's next?
For
Sony has to go next, right? There's no way Microsoft goes again.
It would have to be. It would have to be Sony because Nintendo's not showing up this year or not doing anything.
That's a bigger statement than you're giving credit for. Nintendo is not showing up this year, literally at all.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this last Direct. Can we talk about this real quick? This last Direct. You want to talk about things that are like being a waste of your time? It's like. Okay, you announced DLC for Cadence of Hyrule. That's fine. Like, cool. And what was the other thing? Not the big thing. I don't even remember.
Exactly.
Anyway, so they announced 4 things. Cadence of Hyrule DLC. They're remaking SMT3 on the Switch. Okay, cool. But it's a remake, so I'm not that excited. But it's cool that SMT is getting a lot of publicity. Thank you mostly to like Persona 5.
Yeah.
But because SMT4 is like really great. And SMT3, I played a bit of it, and it was really fun. And then SMT5 got, like, extra confirmed again. It's been confirmed, like, for years.
Yeah.
And every time people ask about it, they're always like, yeah, it's happening. We know it's happening. And they did not show enough to get me, like, excited. No. They showed a really cool trailer, which is very anime, and, like, the god you know is dead kind of guy. And you're like, okay, relax there, buddy.
What are you, Eisen?
Dude, it's the most, like, oh, what was the... What game was it? I think it was Avowed. The Avowed trailer had that thing in the beginning that was like, forfeit the light. No, it was Destiny. It was Destiny 2 Beyond Light. And I was like, dude, this game needs to chill. But it was like, drop the light, shed it, wield the darkness. Relax, bud. Relax. You're not that cool. It's actually one of the things that I don't like about the story of Shadowbringers. Shadowbringers easily has the best story of the Final Fantasy XIV campaigns. But it's so try-hard edgy where you're like, we are warriors of darkness.
Got it.
Off. Piss off. Like, it's so awkward. I love the idea of, like, the light being the villain this time around, so to speak, but you're like, wield the darkness.
Breathe. Fucking breathe.
Yeah.
Woosah.
Piss off. What was I looking up?
I don't even remember.
Oh, but yeah, Nintendo though, like they're just like not here, dude. They're not here.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like, their first couple of years with the Switch were phenomenal. And now, like,
Yeah, so like let me ask you the question: what is coming out for the Switch this year? Paper Mario's out, so they have nothing. Nothing. Origami King is here, and that's literally it.
that's about it.
That's literally it. Sony doesn't have anything announced. It doesn't look like.
Oh, okay.
So
I wonder if they're counting their PS5 reveal as like.
But they have to do another one, because the Xbox did their big one, and then when Xbox, Sony, now Xbox again. I'm thinking Sony's going to do it. One of them has to just cave and just say the price. What it is that Microsoft and Sony both are in this position where, so if Sony announces their consoles $400, and Microsoft
Counters.
Microsoft can then equal 400. They're hoping Sony says 500 or 450, and then Microsoft says 400 or 450. That seems to be the number. If any of them go higher than 500,
We're gonna have a problem.
I think it's a bust. And I'm talking for like the full version of the thing, not like if the PlayStation 5 that plays the hard discs is more than $500, that's a bust for a lot of people. A lot of people. Like 500 is like the limit. And there's literally nobody right now is like, yeah, $700 is going to be the one. Like everyone's like, oh, $700 may be what it costs to make. There's no way they're announcing it at that.
I actually had an interesting conversation with somebody at work who, I mean, they don't like, I don't want to make it sound like I'm better than I am, because I'm not. But like, they don't.
You are. Look at your strut, dude. Look at your physique.
Well,
Dude,
like
you're wearing an Animu shirt. You're wearing Itachi, who wields the darkness. Oh my wa. So male.
But I was having a conversation with somebody, and he was talking about the Series X, and we were talking about price points. And he said, like, 600. I was like, that ain't gonna happen.
No way.
I was like, there's no way. He's like, well, why? I was like, because the thing probably costs about $700-800 to make. I was like, and companies don't bank on their consoles making them money, because they're always selling at a loss. I was like, because they can't sell the thing for as much as it costs to make it.
The PS4 is like, the PS4 and Nintendo consoles are like the exception. The PS4 is like the real exception, because that's the first time I think that Sony's ever pulled that off.
But I was explaining to him, I was like, even if you go all the way back to even like, let's just say PS2, Xbox, GameCube, like, Xbox lost a lot of money on that first console endeavor, because I remember the original Xbox cost, like, at the time, it was like $600 to make, and they only sold it for, I think, like $300 or something like that.
What was this one more time, sorry?
The original Xbox?
Yeah.
Like, they lost
basically every console
is a loss.
Is a loss except Nintendo and the PS4. Those are the exceptions so far. And the PS4 was, like, on the edge. Basically, they just didn't lose money.
Yeah.
But the way it works is you lose money, you suck it up, you lose money on the hardware,
make it up,
and you make
software.
it up in software licenses. Yeah, like you just make the money from selling games. That's why they're like, they want to get you the platform, and then because the sooner they get you the platform, the more games you're apt to buy, which means they're going to make way more money in the long run. Like, they're in this for the long con. They're in this for the generation. They're not in it for right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the projected price cost to make these consoles is looking like anywhere from $450 to $550. I've heard people say it costs like $700. Okay, I've heard one person say it costs $750, and I trusted them, but I should have known. But if that's the case, if it costs like $550 to make and they sold it for $500, that's like a pretty decent chunk. That's fine. They could sell it for $450 and not really feel that bad, or even $400 and not feel that bad. If we're being really honest here,
I think there's. I mean, I might be giving companies too much credit, but I think there might be enough of a buffer, especially from the last generation, as far as like crazy amount of sales for software and hardware. There might be a decent enough buffer where the hit won't be as horrible, but they're still taking a hit regardless.
Yeah, that's definite.
But
That's a definite. I'm hoping. I'm hoping the next generation is really good. This generation was okay.
It wasn't horrible.
It was like okay. It was. I would argue it's not like there's something really anomalous about like the Xbox 360, particularly. It's like really good. And this last one, I mean, the PS4 has had some great games. The PC's had some great games that have come out this year, or these like last few years. But more so, not the games necessarily. It's like the business models. I need to see different. Because like that's the thing that killed this generation. If there's a thing that made me not enjoy some games, it was the business models. And I am really happy with what Phil Spencer has been doing for Microsoft. I think they have made a great choice in hiring him. He seems like a genuinely level-headed guy who completely understands the value of like the gamer. Like that whole thing we were talking about with the Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
That is the freaking most insane deal in the world.
I'm going to pitch this. And if it happens, I want the money.
Okay.
I want an MMA match between Phil Spencer and Bobby Kotick. But Phil Spencer gets spiked gloves, and Bobby Kotick has to wear rubber chickens.
Ooh. I like this. I'm not a big fan of violence.
However...
But you can't put a price on Bobby Kotick no longer being the CEO of Activision. Guys, stop putting devil horns on his images on Google. They're bad for his dating life. Let's come up with something new then, not devil horns.
I forgot that was a thing.
We'll come up with something better. Like people like don't want devil horns.
What if we just turn like his eyebrows into dicks?
Like flaccid penises. Dude, you don't get to sit here and go, man, I don't like the fact that people call me the Darth Vader of video games. But my goal is to take the fun out of making video games. Also, here's this remaster for CTR. There's no microtransactions in it. Wink. Wink.
Fuck.
Oh, what's that? All the reviews are up? Let open the floodgates, boys. Microtransactions, here we come. Oh, so dumb.
So dumb.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the next generation is going to be. I kind of want to do a video, Randy. Maybe you can help me out. Maybe you want to join it or whatever. But I kind of want to do a thing about like all the launch titles for the last one. I think I told you about that.
Yes.
So I think we're going to do that. And maybe we'll do like a thing, like we can do like a review of the generation. That could be fun.
Sold.
That could be fun. Like
no contest.
Like a microtransaction. Did you just buy the season pass for that, Randy? You don't get to be part of the second video if you don't buy the season pass.
How much is the season pass?
$25.
What comes with it?
Those 2 videos.
I'm in.
All right, I'm good here, Randy. If you're
I'm sweaty.
It's hot as balls in this room. It's gross.
Yep.
It's really gross.
Pretty sure my balls have fused to this chair.
It's not good. Yeah, here it's pretty bad. It's been humid as hell. So thank you all for watching. Yeah, I apologize if you kind of felt it. After about an hour hits when it's this hot, you're just like, energy, please.
Especially I've been in a hot ass mill all day, so my body's like, why the fuck are you doing this again?
Yeah, for real. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far,
hit like and subscribe.
Yeah, let me know if you use too many buzzwords.
I want that kind of comment again so bad. Thanks for the view.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm kind of coming off like super passive aggressive, but it's more just funny. I just thought it was funny. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Bye bye, boys.
Adios.